We are coming up on 7:59 on your Monday morning drive. We start with a traffic alert in West Lynn that has I-205 backed up from basically Blankenship Road across the Abernathy Bridge and into Oregon City. So the good news, it appears, is that the crash is cleared to the shoulder here. But the bad news, of course, is that you can see 205 traffic is really slow right now, about 10 miles an hour to get you from Gladstone to Stafford Road at this point. So plan some extra time for that part of your commute. Other drive times are building. Right now, I-84 westbound is about a 35-minute ride in the rain to get you in from Troutdale. And oh boy, do we have some rain this morning, and will we for the next couple of days. This is a live look at radar. You can see the yellow and orange starting to show some heavier rainfall rates beginning to work their way into the metro area. The progress this rain has made over the last 3 hours. Radar has definitely filled in quite a bit from early this morning. It's mild. It's 57 degrees at PDX, and the plan for today, again, that keeps the fire hose pointed right at us all day long and all night tonight, to the tune of maybe 2 inches of rain by tomorrow morning.
Now at 8 o'clock, we're covering a vote that will decide whether to close several schools in the West Lynn-Wilsonville School District. A closer look at that decision coming up in a live report. Plus,
it's just sad, you know, like I said, this young man works, he take care of his family, he's very great in the community.
That's one neighbor's reaction after witnesses say a Department of Homeland Security dog attacked a Vancouver man while he was being detained. We're going to hear what ICE had to say about it. And today is the first of several KGW weather impact alert days because of developing heavy rain and wind. How much rain is on the way? We'll let you know as we kick off the 8 o'clock hour of Sunrise right now. Thanks for joining us for the 8 o'clock hour of Sunrise on this Monday morning. I'm Drew Carney. China Green has the day off, and so does Rod Hill, but Chris McGinnis is on board, and he has all the details on this weather impact alert day.
So you asked the question, how much?
Yep.
We'll answer that right off the bat. Right now, our going forecast is 4 to 7 inches of rain in total here in Portland between now and early Thursday morning. So KGW weather impact alert days for today, tomorrow, Wednesday for prolonged, steady rain. At times, it will be heavy rain. At times, it will be accompanied by some occasionally gusty, strong south winds as well. So that means a couple of things. That means down trees and down power lines are possible. Hence, you need to be prepared for possible power outages. And you need to be aware that if you live in a flood-prone location, the water is going to be coming up progressively over the next couple of days. Radar right now has certainly filled in from earlier this morning. And the radar, it's been generally light rain. But in the areas where the yellows and the oranges, the rainfall rates are beginning to pick up, a sign that our atmospheric river, our fire hose, if you will, is beginning to intensify as it targets the region here. Between Longview and Vancouver and Portland and just north of Salem is where the steadiest moderate to at times heavy rain has been so far this morning. And that's going to continue throughout the day today, throughout tonight, and throughout the first half of the day on Tuesday. 57 last check at PDX, by the way. I need to bump these temperatures up a little bit. Records for today, by the way, are in the low 60s. I don't think we challenged those, but close enough. So you get the idea. A very warm, wet and breezy system we're dealing with today and tomorrow and into Wednesday. We'll certainly keep you posted on that. I've got much more coming up in just a few minutes. First, I want to talk about the traffic. We've got a situation right now on I-205 that has 205 southbound really plugged up. There's a crash just south of West Lynn. It looks like that crash has just cleared to the shoulder, but we're running a little slow both directions now on the approach to that crash scene. And as I show you the 205 South Drive, that's at 10th Street right now. You can see that's moving along at less than 10 miles an hour. So getting you south from Clackamas to Tualatin is going to take some extra time this morning. I-84, 35 minutes now from Troutdale. Highway 26, 30 minutes from Hillsborough.
All right, we're going to get back to weather here, Chris, because weather definitely played a role in this story from Carnation, Washington. That's a small town about 30 miles east of Seattle. It's also where a tree fell on a car and killed the woman you see there on your screen. It happened along State Route 203 on Saturday afternoon. Fire officials say wind wasn't very strong at the time, but they say the ground was saturated.
All the rain that we've been getting, we get a lot of really soft ground, so any tree can come down at any point. Our boats are ready to go. Our swimmers, all of our gear's been checked. We're ready for what's to come.
The boyfriend of the woman who died was also in the car when it was hit by the tree. He was airlifted to the hospital with serious injuries. Chris McGinnis is going to join us here again in just a few minutes with a full look at what we can expect around here weather-wise over the next few days. Of course, you can also stay up to date wherever you are by downloading the KGW News app. In other local headlines this morning, Portland police are looking for this woman, 57-year-old Virginia Lopez de Torres. They say she left her home on Southeast Powell Boulevard right around midnight. Detectives and Virginia's family say they're worried about her well-being because she was diagnosed with a terminal illness earlier this year and has been withdrawn from her family since then. She's about 5'4", 160 pounds with dark hair. Police say she does not speak English and does not have her medications with her. If you see her, call 911. New overnight, 3 people are in the hospital after a shooting in Southeast Portland. This happened just after 9 o'clock last night at Southeast 187th and Stark. Police say all 3 people were shot, but we don't know the updates on their condition this morning. This investigation is continuing. Detectives in Gresham are investigating a deadly shooting over the weekend. Officers responded to reports of gunshots near West Powell Boulevard and Miller Avenue just after 1 a.m. Sunday morning. They say when they got there, they found one person who was already dead in the parking lot of a gas station. So far, there's no word of any arrests. Anyone who saw what happened should call Gresham Police. An apartment complex in Southeast Portland suffered some major damage after fire officials say it exploded and caught fire. This happened around 10 o'clock yesterday morning on Southeast 162nd Avenue. Portland Fire says huge flames were coming from the building when they got there. They also say some residents had to jump from the second floor where this fire seems to have started. One person was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Residents in 4 different units are now without a place to live. One resident told us they think fireworks started the fire, but the official cause is still under investigation. All right, there's a big vote coming this month in the West Linn-Wilsonville School District. The school board will decide the fate of several primary schools in that district. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz is covering this story for us live outside one of those schools that could be closing. Good morning, Thomas.
Hey, good morning, Drew. And yeah, we're at Bolton Primary School, which is under the risk of closing, and some parents say they feel blindsided by this decision. Earlier last month, voters approved a $190 million bond measure for upgrades and repairs across the school district. Soon after that bond measure passed, the school board then began deliberations into closing 3 schools, which came as a surprise to many. Now, besides Bolton Primary School, the other 2 schools to be aware of here are Cedar Oak Park and Stafford Primary School. Those are the 3 primary schools with the lowest number of students. Though last January, the school board voted unanimously to keep all primary schools open through the end of the 2027 school year. And that big bond measure passed last month was promoted to fund repairs and upgrades at all schools, including these now on the chopping block. That changed after the bond vote when the superintendent laid out a deficit in the budget and recommended shutting down all preschools and closing Stafford and Bolton Primary. And that's, of course, been a big topic of deliberation and some stress and angst among many parents in the West Linn-Wilsonville School District. Now, that meeting is scheduled to be a special board meeting on December 18th to decide whether or not to close these primary schools. Drew?
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us this morning in West Linn. The Bureau of Land Management, meanwhile, is cutting down the price of Christmas tree permits in Oregon and Washington to just $1 a tree. That price change will last through New Year's. The $1 permits also apply to firewood, so you can buy your $1 permit online or you can buy it from your local Bureau of Land Management office. We have an update this morning on the local coffee business that aimed to help people keep food on their table during last month's SNAP benefits uncertainty. Heretic Coffee took to social media saying that they've been able to provide more than 100,000 meals thanks to more than 12,000 donors. Last month, they started offering a SNAP breakfast when people were poised to lose food assistance benefits during the government shutdown. And even though the government reopened, Heretic Coffee says they're still offering the SNAP breakfast to anyone who needs a meal, no proof needed. A local business owner says the holiday shopping season has been a good one so far for his business. KGW's Libby Dowsett joins us live in the newsroom with more on this. So Libby, this hot sauce company is just one example of many small businesses in the area doing whatever it takes right now to grab people's attention.
Drew, just one example. The crew over at Hobbs Sauce is celebrating winning the best hot sauce small batch company in the world through Old Boney Mountain International. But times have been challenging for small businesses like Hobb as they deal with economic uncertainty, tariffs, and inflation. Those at Hobbs say their technique for dealing with small business struggles has been to take things slowly and not grow too quickly over the past 9 years. But the holiday shopping season is crucial. So far, they say they're seeing a good bump in business while attending events like this weekend's My People's Market.
And word of mouth is the biggest thing. And that's why I keep doing all these events, is because you get to actually engage with the public, and that's very important. Because once one person gets it, they show 2 to 3 other people, and then your online sales just start going up and up and up.
And some business owners I talked with at the market are saying they're adapting as quickly as possible to all the changes with wholesale prices and trying to avoid passing on those costs to consumers. Those at Hobbs say sometimes you have to lower your expectations, saying the faster a business blows up, the faster it can pop. Drew.
All right, Libby Dowsett live for us this morning inside the KGW newsroom. It is time to step back outside, though. It's a weather impact alert day here at KGW. This is our Pioneer Courthouse Square sky cam, but it's pointing to the south down Broadway Street. Street lights are still on because that's the time of year it is. Even at 8 o'clock in the morning, Chris, we still have some street lights.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yep, and we're going to have lots of rain to talk about here for the next few days.
Yeah, so that is the weather impact alert, right? 3 days of weather impact alerts for a prolonged period of steady and at times moderate to heavy rain. So that's one facet to this system which prompts the threats for rises on rivers, street flooding, etc. The other issue is that we're going to see occasionally some gusty wind as well. So cumulatively, with the rain that we've had, the rain that we're going to get, and the wind that we're going to see, compromised trees that are already somewhat weakened, right, could easily come down on power lines and knock power out. So that's another thing you need to be prepared for. In addition to landslides and just general urban street flooding as well. I mean, this is a major deal over the next 3 days. Futurecast shows, again, yellows and oranges on the map here, indicative of periods of rainfall rates on the order of 1/10 to maybe 2/10 of an inch per hour. And while that doesn't sound like all that much, consider that this fire hose is going to be delivering those rainfall rates right at us for the next 24 to 30 hours. And that's how you get these astronomical rainfall totals. And that's just one. We have 2 of these systems coming our way in back-to-back order here between tonight and Thursday morning. I think the heaviest rain will be hitting the Portland, Vancouver metro area overnight. That'll sag south. We may get a lull. I don't know that the rain ever shuts off. And then atmospheric river, fire hose number 2 comes at the region again tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and into Wednesday with, again, another round of prolonged, moderate to at times heavy rain to the tune of several inches. Flood watch in effect for everywhere in green through Friday morning. And there is a wind advisory in effect in this beige tan shading here from, well, until 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, as the wind will occasionally be gusty out of the south. And while wind gusts to 30 miles an hour ordinarily wouldn't be a big deal, the fact that the soil is already soft and wet, trees could easily move around in that could be enough to create some issues in addition to just the rainfall. All right, temperature-wise today, we're in the upper 50s, so a very, very warm day today, certainly uncharacteristically warm for this point in early November. It's 57 out there right now. Hey, on a good note, on a happy note, the holidays are right around the corner, right? Say hello to Teddy. Teddy's celebrating. Teddy's got his Santa costume on, and he's all ready, and Teddy is today's pet of the day. If you want to get a proper shout-out to your pet, you just take a photo and you send it to us. Pet of the day at KGW.com. You do that, and we do the shout-out part. All right, let's get back to your 7-day forecast. Again, 3 days of KGW weather impact alerts. Today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and even though the rain is going to be tapering off on Thursday, this is still a day where we're going to be kind of surveying what rivers are running high, where is there street flooding, et cetera, where have there been landslides, maybe recurring power outages. So again, the next couple of days are going to be quite impactful here in the Willamette Valley. Let's get you out the door with a look at the roads. We start off with a traffic alert in West Lynn, I-205 southbound, just south of West Lynn. We've got a crash on the shoulder right now. It looks like that's been clear, but man, the damage done here to the morning commute. Look at the lineup. You're basically backed up about 4 miles from not far from Stafford Road to across the Abernathy Bridge and into Oregon City. So lots of extra time needed on the southbound commute from Clackamas to Tualatin. Meanwhile, the other drive times are on the rise as well. Inbound Sunset, nearly 30 minutes. I-84 from Troutdale, about 32 minutes. Drew?
Thank you, Chris. Netflix is preparing for a lengthy legal review of its bid to buy Warner Brothers. Coming up on Sunrise, we're going to hear how involved President Trump plans to be in that approval process. Also coming up, a tsunami warning for Japan's east coast after a major earthquake today. We'll have more details later this half hour.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
The days are winding down for this year's KGW Great Toy Drive, which means now is the time. KGW Great Toy Drive, which means now is the time to act because we want even more toys in that Great Toy Drive toy box. Here's how you can help at this very moment. You can hop online, go to kgw.com/toy, click the donate cash button on that page, and when you do that, we promise to buy the toys for you. In fact, later this week, we're going to show you a story where China Green and I went to a small toy shop in Camas and spent $4,000 of your money on toys there. It was a big boost for the store, obviously a great add to the toy drive, so keep giving, please. Also a great week to give because Great Clips is doubling donations this week, and you can also drop off new unwrapped toys yourself at any IQ Credit Union, Fred Meyer store, or local Toyota dealership. Take a look at this now, a new holiday event at Roto-Rooter Park in Kaiser. They call it Glow Oregon. Roto-Rooter Park is the new name, by the way, for what used to be called Volcano Stadium there in Kaiser. There are more than 1 million lights set up on the baseball field and throughout the stadium. The event also features local vendors, food trucks, and free photos with Santa.
We have live entertainment a lot of the nights too, and so you get to come out, have a full Christmas experience, full festival experience, walk through some incredible lights, and get to have really a one-stop shop for anything Christmas.
Glow Oregon will run through December 31st. Tickets start at about $15 each. There's also going to be a big party for the closing night on New Year's Eve with a fireworks show. From the stadium there in Kaiser, return to the Oregon Zoo. Zoo Lights continues on through the new year into the beginning of next year. The lights on that Christmas tree not shining brightly right now. You've got daylight at the zoo. We also have rain and lots of it coming our way. Chris McGinnis joins us now with what is a weather impact alert day.
Yeah, not just one, but three, right? Impactful weather, really impactful weather over the next 3 days. So hence the KGW weather impact alert today, tomorrow, Wednesday for a prolonged period of rain. At times that rain will be moderate or even heavy at times, and that could lead to rises on area rivers, not necessarily the Willamette and the Columbia, but certainly the smaller rivers, the Cowlitz, the Lewis, the Wilson River, the Lucky Mute River, you name it. If you live in a low-lying, Johnson Creek in southeast Portland, if you live in an area that is flood prone, now is the time to prepare and know that water is going to be on the rise. The other facet to this storm will be some occasionally gusty wind. And while the wind that we're going to experience isn't necessarily all that strong, the fact that we've had a lot of rain in the last couple of days and we're going to get a lot more rain over the next few days means that trees that are already a little weak and susceptible, or maybe the soil's really saturated, those could come down. That then prompts the possibility of some power outages. So that's another thing that you need to be prepared for here over the next couple of days. How much rain are we looking at? Well, here's the European model. Don't get too fixated on the numbers as this fire hose, if you will, of rain moves from north to south and oscillates around the region. These numbers could change a little bit, but we're very confident of 3 to 7 inches of rain in the Willamette Valley, and specifically Portland and points north, I think, is going to be the bullseye of the heaviest rain. At least that's what our models are certainly indicating now. And the heaviest of all the rain is going to be in the Cascades and in the Coast Range, where we could see rainfall amounts up over 10 inches plus between now and Thursday morning, which means Cascade rivers and streams, coastal rivers and streams are going to be on the rise very, very quickly here in the next few days. All right, here's radar over the last little while. Well, right now, in the live scans showing light to, at times, moderate rain starting to fall. And the rainfall rates themselves are not overly impressive right now. We're on the order of a few hundredths to maybe 1/10 of an inch of rain. But when you consider that 1/10 of an inch of rain in general is going to fall for 24 hours, you get the idea. That's a lot of rain over a relatively short period of time. And at times, the rainfall rates will pick up even greater than that. Here's Futurecasts. Just imagine the analogy of a fire hose, and the yellow and the orange is representing the heaviest rainfall in that fire hose. That will really target the region late tonight. So while it will rain throughout the day today, I think the period of heaviest rain will be overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. So that means that Tuesday's morning commute is going to look a lot different than this morning. There's going to be a lot of water on the roads already tomorrow morning. There may be some slides already. There may be some power outages already. And then the second system comes in later Tuesday night and into Wednesday with, again, a 1-2 punch of rain. Hence the flood watch across all of western Washington and most of northwest Oregon through 4 o'clock on Friday morning. Even though the rain will have shut off, we're still going to be watching for what rivers have been on the rise and how high and how quickly. Also, today there is that wind advisory in effect late this afternoon, or actually starting now through early tomorrow morning. South wind gusts on the order of 30 miles an hour aren't overly impressive, but again, as we mentioned, for all the reasons, the loose soil and any weakened trees could easily come down because of all the rain that we've had. So KGW weather impact alert days for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and again with the warm temperatures, not quite records, but very, very warm nonetheless for early December. Snow levels in the Cascades are going to be way on up over the Cascade ski resorts, unfortunately, for the next few days. Okay, let's get you out the door. The upper right-hand corner of your screen there is I-205 just south of West Lynn. There's been this crash on the shoulder here for a little while. All lanes are open, but it is backing up the 205 south commute. In fact, here's the live look right now near Blankenship Road. That's just past West Lynn. Traffic is backing up across the Abernathy Bridge. This is in West Lynn, but it's actually backing up all the way towards Gladstone. So your drive from Clackamas south to Tualatin is up significantly. Plan on an extra 20 minutes right now for that drive. Highway 26 and Interstate 84, of course, slow and steady coming in. And I-5 from Clark County right now. That's a 25-minute ride from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge.
All right, thank you, Chris. Still ahead, Kilauea erupting yet again, this time taking down one of the cameras that was live streaming the eruption. We'll have that story plus other national and world headlines right after this.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
President Trump is weighing in on the merger deal between Netflix and Warner Brothers that was announced late last week. So over the weekend, Netflix subscribers got an email saying, quote, "Nothing is changing," adding that the two companies will continue to operate separately until the $72 billion merger is finalized. The combination of Netflix, HBO, and Warner Brothers still needs a regulatory review, which the president addressed briefly last night.
Well, that's got to go through a process, and we'll see what happens. Netflix is a great company, and they've done a phenomenal job. Ted is a fantastic man. I have a lot of respect for him, but it's a lot of market share, so we'll have to see what happens.
The president says he'll be involved in the approval process. Both companies expect the deal to close during the back half of next year. Here's some other national world headlines with your morning rush. The United Nations plans to cut next year's emergency aid budget in half after both the U.S. and European governments made big cuts to their foreign aid budgets. The Trump administration pulled the U.S. out of several UN agencies and pulled back about $1 billion in funding. Since that time, UN officials say food budgets have been slashed while famine hits parts of Sudan and Gaza. A tsunami warning is in place for parts of the northeastern coast of Japan after a 7.6 magnitude earthquake hit off the coast earlier today. Japanese weather officials say tsunami waves could reach a height of almost 10 feet in some areas. And check out this video of Hawaii's Kilauea volcano on Saturday as it spewed a 1,000-foot fountain of lava. The eruption ended up destroying a U.S. Geological Survey camera that was live streaming the event. It's been nearly a full year since Kilauea started erupting again. And that's a look at your morning rush. More than 100 legacy health workers remain on strike. We're going to have the latest on negotiations coming up here at 8:30. We'll be right back with more Sunrise in just a few minutes.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW+. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW+. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Good morning, I'm Drew Carney. Board members in the Westland-Wilsonville School District will vote next week on whether or not to close 3 primary schools in the district: Bolton, Cedar Oak, and Stafford. Last January, the board voted to keep those schools open through the end of the 2027 school year, but that all changed after the superintendent laid out a deficit in the budget and recommended shutting down all preschools in the district, along with closures for Bolton and Stafford. The vote is set for next Thursday, the 18th. All right, Chris, what do you have for us weather-wise?
Well, we got rain, right? 3 days of KGW weather impact alerts. It is raining generally lightly out there right now, but as we look at the radar trend over the last 3 hours, you can see it's just the same old here. And even though the rainfall amounts are generally light, as in rates are generally light, cumulatively over the next 3.5 days, we are looking at a whopper of a rainfall here, maybe on the order of 3, 4, 5 inches up and down the I-5 corridor from Portland to Kelso, more than that in the higher terrain. So KGW weather impact alerts for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday for heavy rain and also possible landslides and power outages. You need to be prepared for those.
.30 half hour, the Sunrise Show, an event over the weekend that really should have been held today probably. They called it the Umbrella Parade in Milwaukee. People were invited to decorate an umbrella and walk from the South Downtown Plaza in Milwaukee to City Hall. Organizers handed out prizes for the most creative umbrella, the most festive umbrella, and what they described as the most Milwaukee umbrellas. Good morning.
What is a Milwaukee umbrella, exactly?
Well, they didn't give us the details on that, Chris. I just had to kind of have a feeling about it, I guess.
One that keeps you dry.
Hey, let's talk about the weather today.
Rain gear. Yeah, KGW weather impact alerts for the next 3 days. So today, tomorrow, Wednesday for a prolonged period of rain. At times, that rain could be moderate to heavy. It will be accompanied occasionally by some gusty south winds. So what does that mean? That means the impacts will range from rising water on area streams and rivers, right? Not necessarily the Willamette and the Columbia, but any other river, the Sandy River, the Clackamas River, the Cowlitz River, you name it, are all going to be possibly on the rise over the next couple of days. Johnson Creek, the Wilson River, etc. So if you live in a low-lying or flood-prone area, now is your time to be prepared and have a plan. The addition of the strong wind threat means that we could bring down some trees on power lines, and then that, of course, brings up the threat for power outages. Not that we're expecting widespread power outages, but these are all the things that are on the table over the next 3 days here as we get not 1, but 2 atmospheric rivers targeting the region. And what is that? It's basically a long plume of high moisture-laden air. So if you think of our normal rainfalls like a garden hose, an atmospheric river is like a fire hose, and that fire hose is going to be pointed at southwest Washington and northwest Oregon, as it is right now for the next, well, this first one for the next 30 hours. And so when we get rainfall rates of like 0.05 to 1/10 of an inch an hour, that doesn't sound very impressive, but when you think about the duration, that's how we begin to stack up some of those astronomical rainfall totals. All right, here's a look at Futurecast. Between now and 3 o'clock, we'll be in and out of the light to moderate rain. Futurecast does target the region with heavier rain overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. So Tuesday's morning commute is likely to look a whole lot wetter. There's going to be standing water, maybe some landslides between now and then for tomorrow morning, and then the next system comes in tomorrow night into Wednesday. It's mild. It's 57 degrees. The south wind right now is at 15, and that wind will be occasionally gusty on the order of 30 to 35 from time to time today. Okay, let's get you out the door. We do have a traffic alert in West Lynn, I-205 southbound at the upper left-hand part of your screen. That's near Blankenship Road. There's a crash that looks like it's been cleared to the shoulder, but the southbound 205 drive is really backed up. That's at 10th Street in West Lynn. There's the drive out of Oregon City over the Abernathy Bridge. So if you're hopping on the road in Gladstone and you got to get south to Tualatin, know that this drive is going to take you at least an extra 20 minutes right now because of that crash. Again, all lanes are open, but traffic is just really slow. The drive from Wilsonville is up to nearly 40 minutes now. In from Troutdale, 32, and 30 minutes gets you in from Hillsborough to downtown. True?
Thank you, Chris.
I was in tears. You know, he's screaming for help, and his wife, you know, people begging for help. Like, what is wrong? Why is y'all doing this to him?
That is the neighbor of a Vancouver man who witnesses say was attacked by a Department of Homeland Security dog while he was being detained. We've heard reaction on this story from Washington Senator Patty Murray as well as ICE. KGW's Libby Dowsett joins us live now with more on this story. Libby?
Drew, we spoke with a neighbor who says Wilmer Toledo Martinez was targeted by federal agents in front of his apartment last month. According to that neighbor, agents released a dog on the man, leaving him with gashes on his body before agents took him to the ICE facility in Tacoma. But an ICE representative is denying it was them. We want to warn you, you may find this upcoming video of the man's injuries disturbing. The recording shows Toledo Martinez on the ground, a dog being held back by what appears to be DHS agents. Before the video started rolling, his attorney says Toledo Martinez was attacked by the dog. You can see the injuries, the gashes on his arm and side. We received an emailed response from ICE yesterday saying, quote, ICE does not have any canine units, so this could not have been our agency. We caught up with neighbor John Williams Sr., who says he watched the incident happen.
His wife screaming, the kids in the car screaming. I'm glad his 7-year-old daughter wasn't here. The 2- and 3-year-old was here. And we were trying to ask what's going on, and they're telling her to get back, or we're going to sick the dog on you.
Toledo Martinez is undocumented. He was brought to the U.S. when he was 15. According to his attorney, a federal agent lured him out of his home, claiming to be a construction worker who may have hit his car. Democratic Senator from Washington, Patty Murray, is calling for his immediate release from the Tacoma detention facility. Drew?
All right, Libby Dowsett live for us this morning on that story. We're also hearing from ICE as it pushes back against a claim that federal officers ran over a man as they were detaining him. Another warning here that this video may also be difficult for some viewers to watch. So last Thursday on 4th Plain Boulevard near Z Street in Vancouver, witnesses captured 2 silver SUVs with what looked to be masked federal agents between them. Carmen Paniagua says that the agents were detaining her brother-in-law, Jose, and while he was still on the ground, you can see one of those SUVs starts to drive away, hits a bump, and then you hear screams.
They're hurting him.
Like when we heard his scream, that broke all of us, and I'm pretty sure that even the people that are not his family felt bad.
A few seconds later, officers pick him up. They put him in the back of the other SUV. His family was told that he was taken to the medical unit in the detention center. In a statement, an ICE spokesperson told us that Jose, quote, walked around normally immediately after without any issue. That spokesperson added that a medical evaluation showed no fractures, no dislocations, and no other injuries. Federal mediators say negotiators for Legacy Health will be back at the bargaining table today. More than 100 advanced practice providers with Legacy have been on strike since last week. They include nurse practitioners, physician associates, and clinical nurse specialists. The Oregon Nurses Association represents this group of workers and says it's been trying to negotiate a new contract with Legacy for nearly 2 years. The strike will continue during negotiations. Health officials also say this is the time of year when they see a rise in pneumonia cases, and they also say that pneumonia can quickly turn serious. Physicians at Kaiser Permanente say pneumonia infections can be life-threatening, especially for adults over 50 and anyone with chronic health conditions. They add it can come on suddenly and often leads to hospitalization. Symptoms can include a deep cough, chest pain, and extreme fatigue. Doctors say pneumonia prevention is oftentimes overlooked.
I think a lot of people aren't aware of it. I think we hear about these other vaccines and maybe hear the word pneumonia. It sounds very generic. If we can just be a little more aware and spread the good word that this is something preventable to a degree and to go ahead and get this vaccine with your primary doctor during your annual wellness visit, that would be great.
The CDC recommends all children under 5 and adults 65 and older get a vaccine to protect themselves against pneumonia. Back to the big weather headline of the morning. Chris McGinnis, we've got lots of rain moving in right now.
Yeah, 3 days of KGW weather impact alerts. So what are we looking at? Potentially 4 to 7 inches of rain in the Portland, Vancouver metro area. I think the higher amounts may skew into Clark and Cowlitz County. I'll walk you through that in a minute. There is a real risk of flooding, river flooding like Johnson Creek, the Wilson River, the Clackamas River, etc. We'll walk you through that as well. Landslides. Again, we've already had a fair amount of water in the last couple of days, and now coupled with more water on top of it, soil starts to get really loose, which brings up the other issue of occasionally gusty wind. And I'll talk more about that in a second. And even though the rain tapers off on Thursday, I think Thursday's a day where we're going to be looking around kind of assessing where are the high water spots, where's the standing water on the roads, where are the rivers that are out of their banks and flooding, and where are there slides active and ongoing, and where might there be power outages. Again, all of those things are on the table here over the next couple of days. Cumulatively, our modeling suggests 3, 4, 5 inches of rain up and down the I-5 corridor from northern Marion County up to Cowlitz County. The bullseyes that you see, the big white bullseyes in the Cascades and the Coast Range correspond with numbers that are off the scale here, like 10 plus inches of rain. If we get that kind of rain in the next 2 days, 3 days in the higher terrain, all of that funnels into the rivers and the rivers will be rising quickly. So just know that that is the situation we're looking for. Clear storm drains do everybody a favor. That helps to deal with the standing water, but also be prepared for the possibility of landslides and downed trees. Downed trees, of course, could bring down power lines, and that means that you may be without power. And if you live in a low-lying location, again, you really need to be prepared and have a plan. Okay, over the last 3 hours, you can see the uptick in the rain. It's not terribly heavy at this point. We've only seen 3/4 of an inch of rain per hour in most of these rainfall rates so far, but the rainfall rates will pick up, and it's going to rain for a long time. Hence the flood watch from 10 o'clock today through 4 o'clock on Friday morning. And the other facet that we mentioned is the south wind gusts that will be prevalent today, especially on the order of about 30 miles an hour. Now, that's not initially all that strong, but given the really wet, loose soil that we already have and more rain falling on it, weakened trees could easily fall down on power lines. So again, all of this is in the works here, possibly over the next couple of days. Thursday, we start to diminish that rainfall. Friday looks like a dry day, and then there's some more light rain in the weekend forecast. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. United Airlines bringing back its annual fantasy flight. So coming up here on the Sunrise Show, we're going to take you along for a trip to the North Pole with a group of very special kids.
Hey, our team tests products all day. We get rid of the rejects. We only bring you the best, and today's is super important because it involves your health and safety. This is the product right here. It's called the Smart Pill Box. Nearly half of all Americans don't take their medicine as prescribed. In many cases, it's simply because they forget. The Smart Pill Box fixes that. So you put your medication in here like this, and you get a number. You can number each one, right? And there are 6 slots. It actually tells you and notifies you both on the box and on the app that you connect it to when you're supposed to take your pills. This is also amazing for caregivers, right? And the caregiver doesn't have to live with the person. They can get an alert on their phone far away and call and remind them. So this can really help a lot of people out. Let me show you what it looks like inside the app. It's the medicine name. How often do you take it? How frequently is this dose taken? The medication start date, the intake time, and the total quantity in the vial. We have a special deal for you today on this because it is so important. Normally $140, today only $89.99. That's 36% off. And on top of that, we have even more savings, an exclusive deal just for you today, a free 1-year subscription to the app that delivers all of this life-saving information. All you have to do is scan the QR code on your screen or go to shoptvdeals.com.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Welcome back to Sunrise. A group of kids took a unique trip to the North Pole over the weekend. United Airlines' annual fantasy flight took off from one of the busiest airports in the U.S. Reporter Jack Ford has the story.
On this trip to the North Pole, you don't need Rudolph, maybe just your boarding pass.
Thank you very much.
And a bit of Christmas magic.
Well, today we're going to the North Pole. Yeah.
Saturday, 300 kids from local hospitals and their families taking the annual United Airlines fantasy flight straight from the Newark airport to the North Pole, or a hangar that looks like it at Newark.
Have a safe flight. Have fun, okay?
The day started like most trips to the airport with a check-in, but with Santa's helpers leading the way. Once everyone settled in, it was time to get in the air. No reindeers on this Boeing, but with a bit of holiday spirit.
Santa says, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good flight.
3, 2, 1, 0.
The sleigh took flight. And for the hour and change in the air, there was plenty of cheer to go around. But waiting for them at the end of the flight, good old St. Nick and Mrs. Claus themselves, and plenty of workshop activities to enjoy. For these families who in many cases have been through unimaginable sacrifice, it's a chance for them to feel a bit of magic. In some cases, in more ways than one. This little girl, Corey Waller, just beat cancer Friday.
We rang the bell yesterday and we're continuing the celebration. I've had our family and our friends there, and we took it through the night, and we woke up this morning and came here. So it is the timing of it all. It's really like, yeah, it's a miracle.
A miracle indeed. And a once-in-a-lifetime chance to make this holiday season truly magic for those who need it most.
Again, that was Jack Ford reporting for us. So just to be clear about this North Pole landing, it is a real United Airlines plane, and it takes a short trip with the kids on board, eventually landing back at the hangar, which United has transformed into a festive North Pole scene. So really a cool setup there for the kids during this holiday season. With that, we turn our attention back to our top local headline of the morning. It is the weather impact alert for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday.
3 days, yes, because of two independent atmospheric rivers, right? What is that? It's if our normal rainfall is a garden hose, this is a fire hose, and this is what it looks like. Typically, we don't see these moisture plumes like this hitting the West Coast, not with this intensity. You're looking at a kind of a track of that moisture plume that is continually focused on the Pacific Northwest coast, and we're talking, you know, for hours and hours and hours. So the first one comes through today, and then the next one comes through late tomorrow night and into early Wednesday. And between the two, we could be looking at on the order of about 4 to 7 inches of rain in Portland and Vancouver and up towards Kelso. Also accompanied by occasionally gusty winds. So this is kind of a two threat situation here in terms of weather with wind and rain, which brings up the real risk of flooding and landslides and potential downed trees and power outages as well. All of these things are on the table and possible over the next couple of days. So if you live down low, or if you live on a hillside in an area that typically slides or is susceptible to that, now's your time to prepare. Even though the rain starts tapering off on Thursday, that'll be the day where we're kind of looking around and seeing, you know, as things clear, like where's the water running really high? And there's going to be a lot of rivers that are at bank full or maybe beyond over the next couple of days, depending on who exactly gets stuck under that fire hose the longest. Right now, the rain is falling. It has been over the last couple of hours. It's generally light rain. We're talking rainfall rates on the order of a few hundredths of an inch, maybe 5/100ths of an inch. That's not all that impressive, but the rates are going to pick up and be on the order of maybe 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of rain. Even that doesn't sound that impressive until you consider that those rainfall intensities will be status quo for 18 to 24 to 30 hours, and therein lies the possibility for some astronomical rainfall rates. So in addition to the rain and the possibility of flooding and gusty wind, you do need to be prepared for possible power outages, etc., as all of these factors come together to make for a real just wet situation, not only, out on the, in the rivers and up in the hills, but also on the roads. There's going to be a lot of standing water. Tomorrow's morning commute is going to be much, much wetter and have areas of standing water much more so than this morning's commute. Flood watch in effect for most of western Washington and northwest Oregon through Friday morning. Even though the rain shuts off, there still will be lasting impacts. And then the wind advisory for today specifically until about 4 o'clock tomorrow morning with that gusty south breeze developing here. And as we mentioned, even though that wind isn't all that strong, any trees that are susceptible in the already saturated soil, they might be easier to knock down in conditions like this, where that fire hose is directed right over us here over the next day and a half. Futurecasts suggest that tonight will be the heaviest rainfall, so overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. That first fire hose, or river, if you will, pushes to the south and diminishes, and then the next one takes its place tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and into the day on Wednesday. That one seems to be focused a little bit more to the north, and that's why we're targeting like Clark and Cowlitz County for possibly kind of the bullseye of the heaviest rain in the area outside of the Coast Range and the Cascades. It's 57 degrees at the airport right now. Another story here is the very high snow levels. So the Cascades, this is falling in the form of rain up to 6,000 or 7,000 feet, and it will for the next couple of days. These are not record highs, but they're certainly very, very warm for this time of the year. Again, the rain tapers off on Thursday, and we can kind of evaluate where we are in terms of rising water and down trees and any potential slides that may have occurred in the next few days. All right, back to the roads. We've got a traffic alert on 205 southbound in West Lynn. That crash just south of West Lynn has the southbound 205 drive all kinds of backed up right now, from basically back past 10th Street onto and over the Abernathy Bridge. So right now your drive south from Clackamas to Tualatin is an extra 20 minutes on top of what you typically might be facing. The drive north from Wilsonville right now is about 40 minutes. Inbound Highway 26, inbound Interstate 84, all pretty busy. We're in the crux of our morning drive. Not terrible out of Clark County. 22 minutes gets you southbound from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge.
Hey, Chris, with that wrapped up, we got to get to some birthdays here. And we start with a young lady by the name of Addison. She is 7 years old today. Happy birthday, Addison. A couple of 10-year-olds next, starting with Sutton. Got that game face on the baseball field. Happy birthday, Sutton. And a happy 10th birthday to Teddy as well, chomping down on that shaved ice. From a shaved ice picture, we go to an ice cream picture. Henry eating his ice cream, celebrating birthday number 11. And Cyrus is now a teenager. Cyrus celebrating birthday number 13 in McMinnville. If you have a birthday shout out that you want us to share on the air, just send us an email to birthdays@kgw.com.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Quick recap of our top stories this morning. An apartment complex in southeast Portland suffers major damage after fire officials say it exploded and caught fire. So this happened around 10 o'clock yesterday morning on southeast 162nd Avenue. Portland Fire says some residents had to jump from the second floor where the fire seems to have started. One person was taken to the hospital in critical condition. People in 4 apartments are now without a home. Board members in the Westland Wilsonville School District will vote next week on whether to close 3 primary schools in that district: Bolton, Cedar Oak, and Stafford. Last January, the board voted unanimously to keep those schools open through the end of the 2027 school year, but that all changed after the superintendent laid out a deficit in the budget and recommended closing all preschools in the district, along with Stafford and Bolton. That vote is set for next Thursday, the 18th. Local health officials say this is the time of year when they see a rise in pneumonia cases, and they also point out that pneumonia can quickly turn serious. Physicians at Kaiser Permanente say some infections can be life-threatening, especially for people over 50 and anyone with chronic health conditions. The CDC recommends pneumonia vaccines for kids under 5 and adults 65 and older.
All right, KGW weather impact alerts for the next 3 days. Why? Because of rain, and a lot of it. It's raining generally lightly out there right now, but that rainfall intensity is likely to pick up as we go through the day today and especially tonight, right? So all told, between today, tomorrow, Wednesday, we could be looking at 4 to 7 inches of rain cumulatively in Portland, Vancouver, and up and down the I-5 corridor. But before things wrap up on Thursday morning. A live look at the roads in West Lynn. That's our trouble spot right now. I-205 southbound's really backed up because of that crash on your screen there. It's actually got you slow all the way back to the Abernathy Bridge. That's at the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Other drive times, of course, are busy. 36 minutes right now get you in from Wilsonville.
Lots of information, Chris, taking us right up to the end of today's newscast. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow morning. Our next live local newscast, though, happens today at noon. Hope to see you then.